transform attribute. They are defined by using transform attribute. By using a transform attribute, we can define the effects. But problem I told you yesterday that transform have browser issues. Transform have browser issues. Hence, we have to use with the plugins. Already I told you plugins. So plugins are nothing but plugin is a special software, a small software used for handling some additional functionality. That means your browser is able to show a HTML page. Your browser is able to show a JPG page, JPG file. But it is facing problem in showing PDF file. You are unable to open a PDF file in browser. That means now browser is unable to handle PDF document. Then we have to add a software into browser. That software will allow to open PDF documents in the browser. Such extensions are called as plugins. You add extensions and your browser becomes more fluent in handling different things. So like that, generally CSS animations will not work for all type of browsers. Then we have to tell the browser by using plugins. Already yesterday I given the list of plugins. If you remember, what are those? We have a plugin called WebKit. WebKit what? Transform. We have to use Mozilla Transform. We have to use Microsoft Transform. We have to use Opera Transform, like this. So already in the beginning itself, we learned that these are all browser engines. We learned what is a browser engine, how browser engine works. So depending on which browser you want to target, you have to write. But as of now, while practicing, you can just write one option. You can just write transform. But in real time, when you are finally designing a page, you need to keep the transform 4 times, 5 times. Same, you have to write 4, 5 times. Why? Because we don't know which browser they will use. For every browser, it should work. Then we have to use all the plugins. Right? While practicing, without plugins, you can practice. But while publishing real time, then you have to use all these plugins. So now, what are the transform methods available? CSS 2D transform methods. CSS 2D transform methods are, we have method like scale. Scale is a method. We have translate. Translate is a method. We have rotate. Rotate is a method. We have like skew. Skew is a method. So we have like matrix. Matrix is a method. These are all basic transform methods. So we will see how to use these methods. How do we work with these methods? So generally, what is the purpose of these methods? First, we will see one by one. There is no order for this. First, we will see translate. Translate is nothing but it is used to change the position of any element on page. Position of any element on page along X and Y axis. Translate is used for changing the position of element along x and y axis. So we have options. We can use translate, we can use translate x, we can use translate y. These are the methods. This translate is shorthand. Shorthand means it is used to handle already all directions. It is used to handle all directions. Translate x is along x axis, and y is along y axis, along y axis, x axis and y axis. That is translate. Translate is changing the position of element. We can change the position of element. Let's see how. So we will take a simple picture. So image source and / public images, some jacket.png, jpg, so width and height. So this is an image we are having. So that is the image. Now its position along x-axis is 0, along y-axis also 0. Now we are writing image on hover. That means when mouse is over. We need image when mouse is over, then we want to transform its position, change its position. Then we have to use transform. Transform what? Translate. Translate have option like x. X means x-axis position, how many pixels. So translate it to some 600 pixels. That means on mouse over, it will take to 600 pixels. It will change the position along x-axis. That means when mouse is over, it will go to that position there. It is going to that position. But it is going to the position, but we haven't set any timing for it. It's very few fraction of milliseconds. Another option is after mouse is out, what should be its position? That means actually it is going to this position within a fraction of milliseconds. Then what you can do, we can put transition. Transition tells how much time to take for the transformation. Suppose 5 seconds it should take for transformation. That means it will take 5 seconds from 0 to 600 pixels. That means now when mouse is over, it will move to that location there. It will take 5 seconds to do that. That means on mouse over, it will transform along x-axis. When mouse is out, then again immediately it comes here. When mouse is over, then it will goes to that particular position, and it will take 5 seconds for that. We can set timing, like I want only 2 seconds. Then it will be little faster to go there. But when I release the mouse, it should come to the normal position in a similar way. Then what we can do is, this is on hover. Before hover, what should happen? Image should transform. Transform, what is it? So translate x. X, how many pixels? 0. Again, it should come back to 0 pixel. And transition. Transition is 5 seconds. It will go fast and come back slow. That means when mouse is not over, its position should be 0. When mouse is over, then its position should be 600. And to change to 600, it will take 2 seconds. And to come back to 0, it will take 5 seconds. Now you can see When mouse is over, it will go fast. When mouse is out, it will come back slow. That is the translate. Translate along x-axis. You can change translate along y-axis. We can set it to y. And the translate we are giving here as a 200, 300 pixel. That means it is going to move along y-axis. So translate what? Y. Here also y. Translate y, it is taking now down along x and y axis. That means it is going to translate along x and y. So it is changing the position of the element along the y axis. If you want both, then there is a shorthand way. Instead of translate, we have x and y, just use translate. In translate, so here we defined first 0 pixel and I am giving as 0 pixel. So I am giving 300 pixel and I am giving 200 pixel. Now actually when I mouse over, it will come like this. That means what is that position here? That means what it is doing, translate 300. 300, you can see it is coming 300 pixels. Suppose I am giving here only 100 pixels. Now on hover, it will come like this. That means x is how much? 300. Y is how much? 100. 100. You can change its position. X 300, Y 300. Then it will come to that position there. X position I want, this is X is 600. Then it will come into the middle. It will come to the middle like this, like this. We can change the x-axis and y-axis position and display that. So if you want, you can move along only x or only y, or you can give both x and y, right? That is 3 options we have. Translate, translate x and translate y. So syntactically how we define? We need to write transform and we have to use translate x. X suppose 300 or 400 pixels. So we can define here another, that is we can define both directions you want. Then you can give as transform and translate. This is x position, that is 400 pixel, y position 200 pixel. That's how we define. That means it is using the positions here, it is using x and y. That is the order for that, right? So here transition we will see later. Currently we are using transition. Transition is used to define, animation style and effects. Animation styles and effects we will detailedly learn. After we learn about this, we will learn. Transition is used to define animation style and effects. Animation style and effects we will see later. As of now, we are using only timing. Animation transition, how much time? In that so many are there. Not only timing, so many other options will be there. Currently, we are just using transition for timing. Later, we will see others. This is one simple syntactical example. I will copy this. This is for translate. Translate is changing the direction, changing the location from one place to another. We have another option that is scale. Scale is nothing but it is used to change the size of element along x and y. Along x equal to what? Width, and y is equal to height. So if you want to change along X and Y, then you have to use this. This is for size. That means you can adjust the width and height. Scale is for size. And actually scale uses value 1 equal to 100%. That means it is using the value 1 means 100%. You say 1.5, that means it will be 150%. 2, it will be 200%, like that. We can define that. So scale is nothing but changing the width and height. Here also the methods. We have the methods. What are the methods? We have scale. We have scale X. We have scale Y. These are the methods. This is, shorthand. So means it is used for both width and height. This is only width and this is only height. You can define alone. That means if you want to change the size of image, then you can go with this. So let's see here in the body section, right? Scale. I will set, so for body section, display as flex, justify content center, align items to center, and height as some 400 pixel. Then actually image is here. I will change this now. Initial transform, I will set it as scale. We have scale X. Scale X is 0 pixel. Scale X is 1. 1 means how much? 100%. And here what we are doing, scale X. Scale X is suppose 3. That means only 3. So you can see on mouse over, it will increase only width. That means here we don't mention in pixels. It is mentioned in points, and 1 is equal to 100. This is X. You want to increase the height of the image, then instead of X we need to use Y. Scale Y, and it will increase the height of the image. You want to increase both height and width of that image, then here it is 1, 1, and here it is 3 and 2. That means when I mouse over, then here one more scale. We have to use what? Scale. Now when I move the mouse onto it, it will increase both the width and height for the image. We can add both height and width for the image. That is changing the position. Changing the position is translate, changing the size is scale, right? We can adjust by using this, right? Any item we can display that. Here one problem is there. So I will give an example here. Let me copy this example. The problem is, the main thing you need to note is, so you cannot define multiple transforms for any specific element directly by using the methods. You cannot define multiple transform for any element. That means I want width, height, and I want to change it position also. It cannot happen. So that means you can give only one set of effects. You can use matrix, but matrix also will not allow. You can use matrix method for multiple transforms, but with only specified set of attributes. set of attributes, which I will show you. Actually, the meaning of this is nothing but already what is the transform we are using? Scale. So what I am doing, I am using transform. I am using translate. Translate 0 pixel and 0 pixel. Here also I am using transform and translate. Translate as 300 pixel and 200 pixel. We are writing two transforms, multiple transforms. And you can see here, it is working with only one. And what is that one? Whatever the latest one you mentioned. Whatever the latest you mentioned, that is only works. So that is the meaning of this sentence. You cannot define multiple transforms to any specific element directly using methods. So if you want multiple, you can try matrix. But matrix also have limited. It will not have all. Then what is the solution? We have to create our own animations that you will see later. As of now, transforms, you should know that you cannot apply multiple. Even you apply multiple, only the last one is going to work. It is not going to handle others. So this is basic of, later we will see how to apply multiple. This is two options now. One is scale, another one is translate. Translate. Another option is there here. We have an option called rotate. Rotate. Rotate is nothing but it can rotate. It can rotate any element along x and y axis, along x and y axis in using specified degrees. Degree. By using specified degrees, you can rotate. Actually, degree means we mention here as angle. By specified angle, so which is defined in degree. We define that in degree. 60 degrees, 180 degrees, 360 degrees, like that you can define. So here we have same methods. What are the methods? We have rotate x, we have rotate y, and we have rotate. So these are defining. And here the value is mentioned in degrees. We have to mention in degree. That means which degree we need to define that in degrees. For example, you see here now, for instead of scale, I am using here rotate. Rotate x, the angle is in degrees. Suppose I have given as 60 degree, DEG. Rotate 60 degrees. And here also on mouse over rotate x, that is also initially we'll put 0 degree. Here we will on mouse over we will put as 60 degree. That means now when mouse is over, it will rotate in this way. X axis this is X way. X way means it will rotate in this direction, right? And Y way means you can use rotate Y. Rotate Y and it will be in this direction. This is Y. That is Y. So that means if I define the degree as 90 and 2 seconds is enough, and you can see it will be in this way. Right? And again mouse over, it will come. That is 90 degree, how it rotates along x axis. Suppose I defined as 180 degree. So 180 degree rotate y. That means it will rotate like this. That is 180 degree y. Similarly, 180 degree x, 180 degree here you can give x. So it will rotate x 180 degree means in this way. It will be 180 degree x. If I give only rotate, now you can see only rotate 180 degree xy means it will be in this way. This is clockwise. If you want counterclockwise, then you have to use minus 180. Minus 180, it will be counterclockwise in this direction. We can rotate by specified degrees that you can manage by using this. So you defined 360 degrees and it will rotate by that angle. And again to the normal. That is rotate x, rotate y, and rotate. We can rotate the image based on that. So this is another option. So we have degrees to define. So example is this one. This is the example of how we can define. So another option, one more we are having. What is it? You can set skew. Remember, I am showing you on image. You can apply anywhere, on text, on image, anywhere. So any location you can apply these effects. It's not like you have to apply only on text, only on image. I'm showing you on image. Actually, suppose we have a heading. That means here I will put a heading temporarily. Suppose I'm adding a heading. So as suppose welcome, that is the heading. Suppose, welcome, and that is the heading. And for the heading, I'm defining this is heading to hover. And you can see on that. So where is it? One, heading 1. So heading 1 hover. On heading 1 hover, it will rotate that. We can apply for text. We can apply for image. Anything you can define there. It's not like you need. Suppose if I need to keep for every character, then what do you say? Actually, for every character you need to separate. That means I will use letter spacing. So I will use letter spacing. Suppose 50 pixel letter spacing, it will be like this. And font size 140 pixels. It is large or too large. That's okay. Now what should happen here is, so we need to keep every character need to separate now. Every character need to separate. So better what you can do here, every character you have to put in a span. Every character you have to keep in a span. Because span only can keep side by side contents. So I'm just defining, span. So this is span, okay. Like that, every character you can keep. I'm just collecting all these 3 words separate. Now what happens is, here in heading 1, we are applying to this. We are applying for span. That means here also for heading 1 span. Heading 1 span. Usually it will apply for something. It is inside only. Where is it? You have spans so many. I'll do one thing. So I will just keep on the span. Means is it able to rotate the spans Span is not rotating. Actually, we need a class for that, because to rotate the span you need some gap also. Class I will give as suppose effect. Okay, first I will write here dot what effect. Here what it is, dot effect hover. So it is some placement is missing. Some placement is missing. Let's check where it is missing. Now it is fine. Huh? Heading placement is missing. Okay, now what we have to do, for every span we have to apply the class, because we need to keep them side by side. Huh? Then for every span we will put the class effect E. For every span we have to keep the effect. So C OME, all these effect. Okay, all are larger size. When mouse is over, you can see all of them will rotate. That means individually until the mouse pointer is over them, it can display on that. These are transitions. That means how we can keep them rotate, scale. You can keep anything. I'm just using rotate. We want zoom every characters. Then generally what we do, so we have to put the option. Let me copy this image, or you can keep it for image or it for text. Suppose I need to change this transform. What we will do, instead of rotate, we are using scale. Scale is default how much? 1. And here one more problem will come depending on the text. Scale is how much? Suppose 4. Right? On mouse over you can see this is, because already font size is large. Then again you put scale, means you need to be careful in that, right? That means already font size is 140 na? Better we will keep as 100. Now that looks fine. And the body, so all these elements we will keep in a container, right? Close the body, because we are keeping everything in center. Huh? Yeah. Now once you move on that somewhere, div will remove. Yeah. Now here when I move on this, now it will be WELCOME like this. I given all these together, right? So for every one you need to individually define that, right? When mouse is over, it can display and show. We have scale, we have the rotate options to display here, right? This is basically done by using this scale and transform and translate. Okay, skew is same. What is skew? Skew is nothing but tilts the image. Skew is used for, it is used to tilt any element by specified angle. By specified angle, it can tilt the element. It can tilt the element by specified angle. Tilting can be done. So methods we have same. What are those? We have skew, and we have skew X, and we have skew Y. Skew Y. Skew is tilting by angle. Angle means you have to mention in again degree. Suppose you see this time, instead of scale, I am giving here skew. Skew I will give along suppose X axis, Suppose 40-degree skewing. Okay. This is 0 degree. Here we will put skew, and skew is skew x. It is how much? 40-degree. Skewing means image will tilt like this. That is tilting of images. I move the mouse onto them, they are going to tilt in this way. That is tilting of image. Along x-axis, along y-axis, you can tilt the image. That is just tilting the image, right? You move the mouse, it is tilting the image, right? That is skew. You can use skew x or you can use skew y. Skew y, that means it will be in this way. Along y-axis, it will be skewing. You can skew along x and along y, right? Like this. Now, we can also define simply skew. Skew means it will be both directions. You can give two angles or one is enough. It can apply in this way, right? So if you are giving both, what we have to do, 0 degree, another one is 0 degree. So 40-degree and I say 20-degree. Like this I am giving. That means along x and y, then it will be in this way. These images will be in this way. Usually, people generally to give such 2D like 3D like effects, what they do is on hover, I can keep here as a text shadow. Text shadow, I will give 10 pixel, 20 pixel, and 20 pixel and 3 pixel, and I said some gray like shadow I am defining. That means on mouse over, shadow will come like this for those elements. So on over, then we can give these kind of effects for them. That depends how you define the contents. I'm just giving additionally shadow, right? Lot of animation effects can be created. That depends on, nobody can teach you animations. You have to create by your creativity, right? Animations is not like somebody can teach you and you implement them. Depending on requirement, you have to design those. You have to test all directions, how it is rotating. Then we need to implement them, right? This is basic here, skew. These are all the options of transform. But what is problem? It is going to handle only one. That means all you cannot apply. That means I want to change the size and rotate. It cannot happen. For that, we have to manually handle. Actually, there is another option called matrix. There is another option called matrix. So we have a method called matrix. Matrix method is there. But matrix is used to define multiple. But matrix have a different combination actually. Generally, it is little different actually. See, I will take here some image again to understand the concept of matrix. Yeah. I will take just an image here, source and / public images in that. So we have some jacket. Okay. So width is some 200 and height is 200 or 100. Okay. We have just an image here. Okay. Now there is an image defined here. We want to add some effects, multiple effects. Multiple effects not possible actually. But you have one technique here. So we can simply use image. Image on hover, when mouse is over, we can put a transform. Transform, we can use matrix. Actually, this matrix have some important options. Order is important for them. So why it is called matrix, you will understand it. Actually, suppose I'm giving here. So first, 0 pixel. I will say 0, 0, 0, and these are the 4 values I am mentioning. So 0 and 0. All, all are 0 values we are mentioning. Actually, in the matrix, you see there are 6 values defined. 6 values defined. So first one, suppose I am just defining here, first one as 100 pixel. I am configuring as 100 pixel. Now you see I will put transform transition. Transition as some 2 seconds transition. When mouse is over, there is nothing defining there. Here, this is first value. So, and second value I am not defining. Third value I am not defining. So that means third value I am defining. Suppose this is fourth value I am defining as 200 pixel. Now this is pixels I am mentioning. There is no change here. See, first value I will give as 2, and second value I am giving as a fourth value I am giving as some 2. Now you can see some changes happening, right? So actually, what is the changes? The first value is, you see, first value is X. What is X? I will tell you the matrix calculation here. Actually, the first value is like this. That means in matrix, so in matrix, generally matrix values, how they are mentioned. Here we have first one. This is first one. This is in transform only. First one is scale X. Scale X. After that, so first one is scale X. After that, it will have skew X, not scale Y. After that, we will have skew Y. After that, we have scale Y. Scale Y. After that, you have translate. That means we have translate X, and you will have translate Y. Translate Y. Translate Y. This is the order of that matrix. That means what is the matrix positions? Actually, the matrix position will be like this. That is the matrix position. This is X, right? And this is Y, X and Y. This is the matrix position, XY. After that, second position will be what? Skew X. Another one is skew Y. This is the matrix position. And the last two are translate X and translate Y. Translate X and translate Y. This is the position here. That means the order is this. Actually, matrix order is little bit different, which that means I will show you like this here. It will take skew X, another one skew Y. After that, so it will use scale Y and translate X and Y. This is the matrix order actually. Matrix order. That means from down, top to down. What is the order? Scale X. After scale X, which one it will apply? It will apply skew X. After that, skew Y. Then it will go to scale Y. Then translate X and translate Y. That is the order. So the first value is X position. I will keep this in the body center so that you can see it clearly. Display as flex. Justify content center. Align items to center. Height, I will give some 500 pixel. Okay. And that is where it is. Now currently, only height and width are adjusting. Height and width are adjusting for that. So the first position is scale. Scale means you have to mention in points, right? How many points? Suppose 2 points, 2 points. That means width and height will adjust equally, right? And what are the last 2 points? So here I am giving 100 pixel. So I am giving here 50 pixel like this. That means it have to move to that location. So why it is not moving to the position? Because I kept it center now. The default position where we kept in the center. 100 means their corner, right? 100 pixel, 100 pixel. If you remove that position, then it will work. That means here the value is 100 and here the value is how much? 50. These are the translate positions. It will come from here. Because if I give pixel, it will think from here. Understood? From those existing position, it should move. That's the reason you need to just mention about the points. You have to just mention about the points. How many points? 100 and 50. Now it is working with both of them. What is that? It is changing the size and location also. Changing the size and location. That means what we want to do. So I will give justify content center. I am removing. That means it will be here. That means it will move in this way. So I will give here horizontally, vertically. So here I am giving suppose 400 pixels, then it will come in this way. And again normal into that position, right? Normal position means you have to just use as image. So here it is taking these options. So what is the first one? Scale X. Now the second one is Q. There is no rotate. There is no rotate. That is the reason in the definition itself I told you that with limited attributes. Matrix is there with limited attributes. Here you cannot have rotate. But Q have that behavior. Suppose what is it? Suppose I say 30 here. You can see. It's too much here. I will give some 3 here. That means it will display like this. 3 is 30 degrees, equal to 30 degrees. And here I am writing as some 2. Then you can see 30 and 20 degrees. It will come like this. It is rotating and skewing. Right? It depends on how much you define. So suppose 8 and it is going to display in this way. We have to change the direction, size and all by using matrix. These are matrix related options, but here we don't have any rotate options. You need to create according to requirements, right? We will create some effects. I will show you. Because first, if you understand the concept, then we can create the effects. Without understanding the basic concepts, we cannot directly create effects and animations. So these are not the examples. These are just the syntaxes to understand how they work, right? We need to put them in a proper way to get a correct animation and effects, right? So this is all about matrix, right? In matrix, what happens? It can define multiple transforms. So which include what are that? This is the order, which include first one scale X, another one skew X, another one skew Y, and we have scale Y, and translate X, and translate Y. These are all the combinations how matrix works. So syntactically, it will be matrix. And here we have to write those options. Scale X, skew X, skew Y, and scale Y, and translate X, and translate y. Translate y. These are the methods. So example, we write like this: matrix. So this is 2 and skew is some 60 degree, and y also 60 degree, and scale to 200%, translate to 100 and 300. That's how we need to define. These are the options you need to configure for matrix. So directly, if you try to apply transform, scale, transform, rotate, whichever the latest one you define, that will work. All will not work. That is important while working with the 2D transforms. Same thing, everything same, exactly same. We have 3D transforms also. Now these you can try by yourself. So CSS 3D transforms. You can try these by yourself. I will upload a document, you can try, because in the 3D transform, one more axis is extra. What is it? Z axis. Rest of options are same. That means what it will be? That means 3 dimensions. So 3 dimensions means transform along X, Y, and Z axis. Z axis. So all methods are same as 2D. Same as 2D. That means what we have? We have the option like translate 3D. And in this, how many you can give? We can give translate X, we can give translate Y. So we can give translate Z axis. Individually, if you want to define, simply you can configure as what? 3D. That means here 3 directions you need to configure, right? You use 3D, that is enough. Similarly, all others also. We have scale 3D. So we have another one, rotate 3D, and you have another option. So that is skew 3D, and you also have matrix. Matrix also have 3D. All these are same like 2D transforms, how you design, right? So I will give examples, one document, you see and try. But one point I will explain, one example I will show you. Others you can try, same as others also, right? Why? Because if I don't show you the point, then you cannot understand that 2D and 3D are different. You will feel like both 2D and 3D are same. That means 3D, 2D effects that depends on how you design. Just by applying 3D, it will not work. For example, 3D movies will be there. 3D movies you can watch on normal TV, or you can watch with a TV which supports 3D. If you watch 3D movie on a normal TV, you will feel nothing. You will feel nothing. That means that TV should support 3D. You have to wear 3D glasses, right? Then it will look like 3D. Now here it doesn't mean that we need to wear 3D glasses to watch it. But we have to create animations in such a way that they can make them feel like it is 3D, 3 dimensions, right? Otherwise, 3D and 2D look similar. Just by your additional effects, it may look like 3 dimensions. That is very important, right? So combination you need to correctly create. Otherwise, there will be no difference between 2D and 3D. Huh? Let's see, for example, suppose here we have this image. So that is the image. I will keep justify content also center. Okay. On image hover, suppose I want to increase the size. For that, actually, see, for image, we are having border as 2 pixel solid, some black color border. Image is having a border. Now we need to keep something more point here to define. Actually, I will not give border for image. I will keep that image in a div. For that div, we will keep the border. Actually, for the div, we are giving the border. Inside the div, image is present. Now for this div, I given padding as some 20 pixel padding. Some gap will be there. And let's keep the image height and width 200, 200. Image height and width 200, 200. It is like this. Now what we will do is, for this image hover, I am giving transform. So transform, here we are using, so scale 3D, I am giving 3D. Scale means size, 3D we are defining. All directions, that means I will give 2 times. 2 times its original size, whatever the size is there. And I will give transition. Transition as 2 seconds or 3 seconds transition I am giving here. And again, so here I will give image, generally scale transform, and the scale 3D is 1. 3D is 1, size is 1. Here you can see there is no difference here. That means when I move the mouse onto it, scale 3D, there is no difference, because 2, 2, 2, I am defining like this. How many values are there? 3. You can see now it changes its size. Because 3 dimensions means 3 values, na? 3 values it need. And you see here also 1, 1 and 1. And here I will give this box div will have height as some 400 pixel and width as 400 pixel. Now it is like this. Now you can see it is displayed in this way. Okay. Now actually the div I defined, body I need to give more height now. 600 pixel body height, then it will be okay. Okay. Now you can see here it is like this. Nothing special. It looks normal only. That means there is nothing like 3D. Right, it is normal. There is no option for that. Suppose div width and height 300, 300. Okay, you will not see anything special there. Normal it is displayed. That means you may feel like it is nothing special, right? So the 3-dimension effects we will keep here. Now you can understand that. So here also transition, how much? 2 seconds. Right, like 2D only this is coming, there is no difference there. But when you can keep that as 3D is, see on hover, first for this div I am giving a background color RGBA, red, blue, green, alpha, and here I am just defining 0, 0, 0 and 0, and alpha is 0.6. That means some transparent background color is present for that. Right, background transparent color is defined 0.3. Very transparent background color is defined. Light color. Okay. Actually, if that picture is not having the white, then it will be better. It will be better. But still okay. Now hover, on mouse hover, we are defining box shadow. Box shadow. So horizontally I given 20 pixel, vertically I given 10 pixel, and I given suppose black as the border, and blurriness I will give as 2 pixel. Blurriness I given as box shadow. Now you can see it looks now 3D. that means it looks like the image comes out of the page, right? That means same like 2D only, but the 3D effect comes only when you give the proper animation effects. Now if I don't give the shadow transition correctly, then nothing change. That means when I move the mouse, now you can see the image looks like come out of that box. These are 3-dimensional effects, 3D effects, 3D effects. This you cannot feel until or unless you give like shadows and all. That is the reason, if you don't give shadows, nothing special. It looks ordinary like 2D on. Even rotate or any scale or any transforms, you need to keep the combination correct. Keep the combination correct. Usually sometimes what we do is, instead of background color, we will use an background image actually. Directly background image URL, it is the same image we will use. That means we have public images and we have jacket, same image. But what we do is opacity 0.3. That means transparency will be very light here. It is very light, transparency very light we have defined. And what happens is, here one more is background position size as what cover. It will fill up this. But when I move the mouse onto it, generally what we do is we put opacity we will set it to 1. That means transparency will come to normal. So here you see opacity for image. Here opacity we given for diva. We will give opacity for the image. Now it will be like this. Now you can see it will display in this way. That means it looks transparent. That means it is as a part of that. You can give more transparent. Means complete transparent. So that is, you can set it to 0. Initially doesn't look anything. But when I move the mouse onto it, it will come like this. That means it will look like it is coming out of that and it is displaying. These kind of effects are 3D. So 3D combinations are important. That means you can display in this way. I just used scale. Similarly, you can try rotate. You can try other options. Then it will be better. So this is 3-dimensional effects. That means usually this is only one option I given. If you remembered, we learnt marquee, right? So marquee, that means I can keep these images inside the div. You have a marquee. So inside that you have a marquee of images. That means the image will be scrolling actually. When I move the mouse onto it, the image will come out of it and display. The transparency of images. That means now let's keep this background image empty, right? So because background image I am not giving anything. Now it looks normal, and opacity I will give as 0.4. Okay, for image, light color images will be rolled. And I move the mouse onto it, it will zoom out of it and come. Right, what you have to do, you have to increase the box size, height and width. That means the div size, if you increase, then it can adjust. Scale, I will give here box height and width I define as 500 and 500. Then it will set that box height and width. Now you can see that image will be displayed. Right, you need to keep the image height and width also accordingly. Right, this is 2D and 3D differences actually. If you put images, there can be multiple images now. That means I can keep multiple images here. We have jacket, so we have like shoe, right? We have like any another mobile or anything. Suppose some men's GIF, and it will be scrolling in this way. And when image is scrolling, So what you can do, you can move the mouse onto it, then it will display and it will show that in 2D or 3D effects it will display. So you can remove the box now, because I given the box because previous concept, right? Now when you remove this box, then it will be normal. That means it will be applying only for the images, only for the images. And you see mark you height you need to increase. Mark you also have height and width na? Mark you we will give height as 500 pixels, then that will be better for mark you. Then it can display the content in this way. So you can see on mouse over, it will display this like 3D effects we are displaying, right? So that is basically how we can handle, right? So when you are dealing with 3D effects, all are like 2D only. Just additionally, you need to try this. I'm just using mark you, right? Speed and all we already learned. Mouse over we learned na? On mouse over, this dot what? Stop. You remember this, right? On mouse out, what we have to do? This dot start. And I will also give the scroll amount. Okay, scroll amount is what? Suppose 10. So it will set the speed, and let's say margin top is some 100-200 pixels. It will be little down here. Now when I move the mouse onto it, usually that is the mark you scrolling speed, it will display the content in this way and it will show those options. On mouse over, it will pause. When I move the mouse onto it, it will pause. And on mouse out, it will resume again, right? For mark you also, you can have padding, because it is not showing much than 40 pixel padding. Then it will have more gap for the content to show. Then it will be better, right? You give more padding, then the more scope of displaying that image cleanly will be there. You have to give more padding for that. That means if you give more padding, it will be better. So instead of height, what I will do is padding I will give as a 200 pixel, because padding is more. Then what happens? The scope of displaying content will be more, right? If padding is more, then you can show that clearly. When I move the mouse onto it, then it will display this one. This is zoom, and on this it will display. These are 3D effects. These are 3D effects. That means the 3-dimensional effects makes the image look like come over the top, right? These are the effects. I will just copy this one. Now similarly you can try others. I just given scale na. Rotate 3D, only 3rd dimension you have to mention for that. But still you have given so many things, but still it is not satisfied, because I want some right side corner to come to center, and when it comes to center from right side corner, it should rotate. Means you have to create your own animations. If you want to create your own animations, these are all ready-made. If you want to create your own animations, then you have another concept, and that concept is called keyframes. Keyframes. By using keyframes, we can create our own animation styles. So instead of using these ready-made, that means rotate, scale, directions, everything we can maintain. That we will see in next session, right? So first you need to practice all this, right? Once you practice all this, then I will give you some tasks. Tomorrow I will give you some screen designs with 3D and 2D. You have to try to design them, right? Then you will get perfection on these 2D and 3Ds, right? Then you have to achieve exactly like that. Then it is good. Then the animations effects are completed. Now we can go into Bootstrap now. We can start understanding and working with Bootstrap, right? That we will see in next session, right? Tomorrow I'll continue.